Listen, we are following up on this story yesterday that Canada's most decorated female Olympian is now suspended from competition sport until July of 2027. So star swimmer Penny Oleksiak accepted a 2-year suspension for violating doping testing rules outlined by the International Testing Agency. So what it means is Oleksiak will not get to compete until 1 year from the start of the LA Summer Olympics. Kevin Bean is the Executive Director of Anti-Doping and Competition Manipulation at Sport Integrity Canada. He's our guest this morning. Welcome.
Well, thanks for having me.
So how will this July 2027 deadline affect Penny's ability to qualify for the 2028 Olympics?
Well, from an anti-doping perspective, when an athlete's serving a period of ineligibility, they're unable to train, compete, receive coaching for the duration of that time. So for the next, until the period of ineligibility is over, the athlete won't be able to participate in sport. From that point over, once that sanction's been completed, then they're fully eligible from an anti-doping perspective. And then it turns to how their international federation or their national sport organization implements the selection criteria for an event. So that becomes a sporting aspect at that point. The anti-doping sanction would be served.
Well, my understanding is she still plans, to stay in the sport. So how will she train if she's no longer training with the national team?
Athletes can use private facilities, but what they can't do is train with their teammates. They're unable to use the coaching that's provided by the national team. So athletes serving a sanction would have to figure out ways to train on their own during this period of time because they're not permitted to participate in any activity related to the national sport organization.
One of the questions I still have, and I'm hoping you can help me with this, is around deadlines. We know the Summer Olympics are 2028 and her suspension ends July of 2027. Does that land in a window for her to still be able to qualify for the games?
Again, that'll depend entirely on how the National Sport Organization sets up its selection criteria. Usually athletes have to participate in certain events or require certain times to qualify. So it'll really depend on what the National Sport Organization Swimming Canada puts in place for their selection criteria.
Kevin, can you help us understand how something like this happens? Athletes like Oleksiak, especially at her level, know about deadlines. Her team management would also be aware of, deadlines for testing. So what could the circumstances be that you would miss a testing window, which is, and miss it 3 times?
Yeah, we see this in a number of cases around the world. These obligations require an athlete to provide information about their location on a daily basis. They submit that information quarterly to organizations like ours, and then we track that information. And if they don't submit it on time, if they're not where they said they were going to be during the relevant period, or if they miss what's called a 60-minute window where they guarantee their availability, that can lead to a failure. So circumstances such as travel, maybe there's an unexpected event that occurs, things come up from time to time, and in some cases that can lead to one of these failures. In others, the athlete simply forgets. And so it's always interesting when an athlete at the elite level finds themselves in this position because, again, there are those systems you mentioned in place to support them, and so it's always interesting when someone at this elite level finds themselves with this type of violation.
And you guys send out reminders, I'm imagining, as well, like, hey, the deadline's coming up, or hey, you haven't submitted.
Exactly. When an athlete's in our what's called the registered testing pool, the pool of athletes that complete this process, we do issue reminders, multiple in the lead up to a deadline, and then also athletes are educated through their initial intake on the system itself and how it applies to them and the obligations they have and the deadlines they have to meet.
Athletes like Penny, for example, we know have a lot of sponsorship deals, brand deals, and you can see them. You can find them this morning on her Instagram account. When it's a technicality like this around doping, it has to do with timing and not necessarily, something that was found in her system. How could that affect brands and sponsorships going forward?
Again, that'll be between the athlete and the sponsoring company. Again, there's sometimes provisions within those contracts that determine what would happen in these very situations. So, while this violation doesn't ultimately suggest that there was a positive test or the use of prohibited substances, it is a violation under the rules. It's a significant violation given the importance of having the information to facilitate our testing of athletes. So from that perspective, again, it'll be between the company or the sponsor to determine what that means for them in terms of their ongoing association with the athlete.
Kevin Bean, Executive Director of Anti-Doping and Competition Manipulation at Sport Integrity Canada. Thanks for providing some answers this morning.
No, thank you.
If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.